Hi, my name is Elisa, and I am starting this channel to kind of discuss everything mental health. I had started a blog and On the Mind Goes to discuss everything having to do with parenting, to life, to work, to all of that, having around mental health. So I have been diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety, and bipolar. Though I will say I have started to do a whole lot of research, and as I was kind of going along, the more research I did, the more I was kind of starting to question my bipolar diagnosis. And a lot of the things that were showing like bipolar traits could also be explained by ADHD. So, like restlessness, racing thoughts, those kind of things were things that also were ADHD. And so it made me start to question whether or not the bipolar diagnosis was legit because I didn't really have testing to get the diagnosis. I had a therapist who I had seen for years who said she had wondered about ADHD, but she wasn't sure because when I was in a up, I at the time felt like I needed to go, 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 do all the things that I wanted to do because I was afraid I was going to drop and I would lose all that motivation. And so she said, because of that, and that it's not a sustained kind of go, 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 that's why she was going with bipolar instead of ADHD. Well, I went to the psychiatrist who she referred me to, and I just kind of broke down why she was saying that she thought it was bipolar. And so he went ahead and diagnosed me with bipolar. Since then, I have moved and I have seen, I believe, three different psychiatrists, each one just taking the word of the last, no one doing any further tests or anything like that. So here we are. And so I started my blog to discuss mental health because there is so much stigma around it. And I have two daughters. I have my oldest daughter is 14. She also struggles with ADHD, anxiety, and then they think maybe some sort of mood disorder. And then my youngest, she has Down syndrome and possibly, most likely, ADHD. With her, it's kind of hard because we kind of are learning all of this as we go. And so with Down syndrome, sometimes there's things that she does that we're like, oh, is that ADHD or is that just Down syndrome? So we don't know. So, and it's kind of hard for her to get tested because it just is. So, anyways, so that's why I wanted to create this channel. I wanted to create this and share with you all. That way, it helped me watching a whole bunch of videos on things like AuDHD to finally start to feel connected to something and feel seen and feel like it explains my internal and external experience, and that there's so much that goes on in my head that people don't know about. And I'm pretty good at masking and I'm pretty good at pretending like everything is good because that's how I was raised. I was raised, you don't talk about mental health, you don't talk about that kind of stuff. You put on a happy face and you just kind of do what you need to do to get through. And I am raising my girls differently. I am raising them to question their brains and to figure themselves out and to do a deep dive because I think the more I learn about myself, it answers so many questions and it makes me feel less broken, where I want that for them too. I don't want them to kind of go through all of these years. And I am now 44 years old and just now looking at an AuDHD diagnosis. And so if I would have had that diagnosis growing up, it would have changed so many things that I thought I was dumb or that I was brushed off as being just kind of ditzy, um, were things that maybe could have been explained through autism or like that asynchronous learning of some things I'm really good at, other things not so much. And so there was this kind of imbalance, but it was never really looked at. And so I think that's also another big part of this channel is doctors are humans and doctors make mistakes. And sometimes when we go to a doctor, we just tell them what's going on right then. So if I were to go to the doctor right now, I would tell them, okay, one of my struggles is dissociation. Well, then they would look at dissociation, focus there, and that's all that they would be focused on instead of looking at my pattern recognition or my existential OCD or, carrying a comfort item, tweezers, everywhere that I go. So I just think it's so important to really break down and look at you as the whole person and to kind of piece it all together. And that's going to give you a better picture.